Good morning and welcome to my kitchen in Cork in Ireland on a very, very wet day. Not a very nice day at all. And very welcome to some poems by Walt Whitman. Laszlo, hello Peter. Would love to know where you're from. Poems by this man, Walt Whitman, from his big collection, Leaves of Grass. Very big book. And I'm going to read A March in the Ranks, Hard-Pressed, and the Road Unknown. Zango, hello, Zango Mango. I remember saying how much I love mangoes. Lovely, thank you very much for coming. And I'm here sitting with what I call a bog standard cup of tea, very ordinary one. And just while giving people a chance to gather, I've got a few almonds as well. Sindre, Johnstad, hello. Got a few almonds to go with the poetry. There are a number of people who I don't recognize, their names I don't recognize at all. So if I just, yes, they're almonds. Gamze, Besenk, hello, Galendh, Galendh. In case you're kind of wondering what this is about, I've been doing a series of readings from the poetry of Walt Whitman. I'll just say hello to you. Hello. I've been doing a series of readings. I'm Paul O'Mahony. I've been doing a series of readings from the poetry of Walt Whitman, an American poet who born in 1819. I made some mistakes about his birth date yesterday. Clonshaw, hello, good morning. And he died in 1892. And this is from a collection of poems which he wrote during the American Civil War. The American Civil War finished in 1865, began in 1861. And I'm aiming to read the whole of the collection called Drum Taps. So, okay, I want no more hanging around. Good point. Thank you very much. The wine guy, get on with the job. Absolutely. Okay, by Walt Whitman, the poem A March in the Ranks, Hard-Pressed, and the Road Unknown. A march in the ranks hard-pressed, and the road unknown, a route through a heavy wood with muffled steps in the darkness, our army foiled with loss severe, and the sullen remnant retreating, till after midnight glimmer upon us the lights of a dim lighted building. We come to an open space in the woods and halt by the dim lighted building. 'Tis a large old church at the crossing roads, now an impromptu hospital. Entering but for a minute, I see a sight beyond all the pictures and poems ever made. Shadows of deepest, deepest black, just lit by moving candles and lamps, and by one great pitchy torch, stationary with wild red flame and clouds of smoke. By these crowds, groups of forms vaguely I see on the floor, some in the pews laid down. At my feet, more distinctly, a soldier, a mere lad, in danger of bleeding to death. He is shot in the abdomen. I stanch the blood temporarily. The youngster's face is white as a lily. Then before I depart, I sweep my eyes o'er the scene, fain to absorb it all. Faces, varieties, postures beyond description, most in obscurity, some of them dead. Surgeons operating, attendants holding lights, the smell of ether, the odour of blood. The crowd, oh, the crowd of the bloody forms, the yard outside also filled, some on the bare ground, some on planks or stretchers, some in the death spasm sweating. An occasional scream or cry. The doctor's shouted orders or calls. The glisten of the little steel instruments catching the glint of the torches. These I resume as I chant. I see again the forms. I smell the odour. Then hear outside the orders given. Fall in, my men, fall in. But first I bend to the dying lad. His eyes open. A half smile gives he me. Then the eyes close, calmly close, and I speed forth to the darkness, resuming, marching, ever in darkness marching, on in the ranks, the unknown road still marching. So there you have a march in the ranks hard-pressed and the road unknown by Walt Whitman from Drum Taps. Whitman had spent a lot of his time in hospitals in Washington, being with people who were dying, being with people who were recovering, being with people who had very serious injuries brought about during the American Civil War, where huge numbers of people were killed. And I'm very glad that you've come here and stayed to hear a bit of Walt Whitman. Miss Quick has joined us. She's one of the greatest fans, I think, of reading Walt Whitman. She's ever so encouraging. She certainly influenced me yesterday to read more than I would otherwise have read. And Miss Quick, I've just read A March in the Ranks, Hard-Pressed and the Road Unknown. And that poem ends, it ends like this. But first I bend to the dying lad. His eyes open, a half smile gives he me. Then the eyes close, calmly close, and I speed forth to the darkness, resuming, marching, ever in darkness marching, on in the ranks, the unknown road still marching. That's just the end of the poem. And it's very, very reminiscent, really, of what Whitman's time alongside people who were dying must have been like. I mean, Wilfred Owen describes the horror of the war, the details and the nightmares, if you like, of what it was like in the war in more detail. Whitman's experience is more being with people who were victims of the war or who were injured and hurt in the war. And from their stories, he would have gained a considerable understanding of what were the kind of key times in the day, key experiences. He would have listened and drawn from people who wanted to talk, people who were traumatized. He would have been with them. So he's a good, I mean, it's not right to call him a witness, but he's a good witness to an essential part of war, which is what happens to the injured, what happens to the dying. So look, I'm going to, say thanks a million for being here. Thanks a million for coming. I look forward to a few more poetry readings today. And, I'm just very touched, and it's lovely to have communications. And, look, don't dream into saying you're sorry you were a little late again. This will be up on replay. I mean, of course, I'd love to have you here, but, you don't get much notice, and there are lots of things going on. I'm not organised enough to say, look, every day I'll be on at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. If I tried that, I would succeed for one day, but I wouldn't be able to do that on a regular basis. Let me read you the what's written on the back of my cup. It's a last thing. It's the part of it's a part of a poem. Some you may or may not. You may know or not. You do not have to be good. Yeah, it begins. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. This is a poem by Mary Oliver. And I think in truth, if I was to move on to reading another poet, Mary Oliver is fantastic. That's from the Wild Geese. Mary Oliver is as good as you get living today. American, yes, American. And there are, thank goodness, there are on SoundCloud clips of Mary Oliver reading her own poetry. And if you go to follow or connect with Brain Picker, BrainPicker on Twitter, Brain Picker on Twitter. Easy to remember that, Brain Picker. She's Maria Popova. Maria Popova produces for me personally, I have to say, the best blog in the world. The sort of stuff that she produces in her blog, which is called Brain Pickings. But just remember, well, Maria Popova, eventually I learned her name, but she's Brain Picker, and there's stuff by Mary Oliver there, but also stuff by all sorts of people, including Einstein. Okay, I'll let you go. Thanks. Good. Lovely. Have a great day, and hopefully connect again later in the day. Bye for now.